Greetings, everyone. My name is Ayman Tarabishi. I'm the ICSB Executive Director. I am also Deputy Chair of the Department of Management at the George Washington University School of Business. I am just delighted to be with all of you here today on my birthday on May 12th. So this is a great gift from Google to Ayman and ICSB. And I want to introduce our session with Google called Connect with Customers and Manage Your Business Remotely. What I'd like to do is personally welcome and thank Randi for being with us here. And I want to actually introduce her and personally here as she's going to lead us through this session here. So Randi Penfil has 20 years of experience in helping small businesses and nonprofits improve their digital marketing. As a professional speaker and trainer, Randi has educated thousands of small businesses and entrepreneurs. Before becoming a Google support trainer, Randi has also educated and trained the small and medium SMBs for constant contact. I think a lot of you know them. As a Mid-Atlantic Regional Development Director, she brings enthusiasm, and I adhere to that absolutely, and experience to every workshop and conversation about digital marketing. Her passion, and you'll see it very clearly shortly, is helping small businesses take control of their digital footprint. Randi, this is just absolutely, thank you very much for being with us here today.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to be here. Thank you for bringing us to your group. We're very excited to be able to present this today on behalf of Grow with Google. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to make sure you're on mute, please. And I want to make sure everybody is good. Hey guys, if you could raise your hands in the control panel, make sure that everybody can hear me okay. Let's raise up our hands. Super. Great. I see hands going up. I love it. Great. Thank you all so much. I do ask for a lot of hand raising during my webinars. If you have questions throughout, which I'm sure many of you will, please put your questions into the question box. I will take questions as the webinar as I go through the webinar and provide information. And then we'll have time at the end again for questions also. I'm going to go through a lot of information, so stay with me. It'll be all great information for everybody to be able to share with their organization and those that they work with. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I want to make sure the screen is shared. I am going to turn off my camera so that we don't get distracted by my movements and me moving around because I tend to move my hands even when I'm speaking to nobody, right? So let's turn that off. Super. Okay, so I want to really thank everybody for attending today. As you can see on the screen, my name is Randi Penfil. I'm one of the speakers with Grow with Google. I'm very fortunate to be part of that team and be able to provide education and resources to our community, to our organizations, and to our small businesses. You can connect with me on LinkedIn, and my Twitter handle is up there. My email is there. We love if you could share on social media. Whether you take a selfie of yourself learning during this webinar or you take a picture of the screen, please use our hashtags Grow with Google and hashtag Randi, R-A-N-D-I, Penfil. I'm actually coming to you from Baltimore, Maryland. So for those in the Washington area, I'm relatively close by. And today we're going to go over connecting with customers and manage your business remotely. So I'm going to go through a lot of information. Take notes. I'll provide URLs that you can write down or take a picture of so that you have resources to refer back to. You'll notice on the screen I have grow.google/remote work. Tons of information on our website there. Lots of information to, free tools and resources that you can use to stay connected when you are working remotely. And listen, in today's environment, it is a different world. So we want to make sure that everybody has the resources that are available. So this is what I'm going to go through. I'm going to break this workshop into a few different items. We're going to talk about updating critical business information online. I'll talk about Google My Business, your website, Google Ads. And then I'm going to get into communicating with customers and employees and using tools so that you still can manage your business remotely. And many of these tools and resources you may already know about, but maybe you've never dipped into. So I want to bring them back to your attention so that you can take a look at how they can really help businesses work remotely and still stay connected. And then we'll talk about accessing files from anywhere through Google Drive, which is really important in today's world. And then next steps and resources. And again, I will take questions as we go through this. So if you have questions, throw them into the question box and I'll refer back to them. First thing that you want to do before you use any of the tools that I'm going over today is you need to be signed into your Google account. So many of you may say, what's a Google account? So if you have a Gmail email address, you have a Google account. If your organization uses G Suite and you're linked into that, you have a Google account. So G Suite is considered the business version, and Gmail is the consumer version, the free version that is available. And you can use these tools with either of those versions. So let's talk about updating your critical business information. And many of you, most of you work with small businesses or your organization, or you help small businesses. You help the consumer on making sure that they can find accurate information online. So what we're going to talk about and go over is Google My Business. I'll go over Google Ads and your website. These are the three areas where you want to make important updates based on how your business might be run in today's world. So when you're speaking to those small businesses that you deal with, or people within your organization, and they are running a business, these are the areas that you want to make sure they are updating currently. So let's start with Google My Business, which is your business profile on Google. And if you have a business profile that is already verified, it is really important to reflect any changes in your business due to today's environment. So what is a business profile? So a business profile, and this is for those that aren't really sure, but you deal with local small businesses. So being able to explain to them, hey, it's really important that you're updating your business profile and for you to have an understanding of what is a business profile. Now, if you could raise your hand if you know what a business profile is. Okay, so a couple people. No, okay. So if you're working with small businesses, this is one area that they want to make sure they have updated. So your business profile, if you look on the right-hand side of this screen, so I'm showing it on two different types of devices. So you've got a laptop here, but how it appears on the laptop is how it will also appear on a desktop version as well. And then I've got a mobile device. Notice on the mobile device, you've got the call button, directions. You've got the website there. You also have the website directions on the desktop and laptop version, but you don't have a call button. So your business profile is where small business information is held for that business. So it's their category. It's a business description. It is where Google reviews sit. It's their business hours. It's important information that people can find when they are doing a Google search, whether it is for a product or service or a particular small business. And it also helps them to appear correctly on Google Maps as well. Now, if you work with small businesses and they work out of their home, there is a way for those small businesses to hide their business, their address, so that their home address is not exposed. And as they're going through the process of verifying their information, as long as they're reading the prompts, they'll be able to see how they hide their address. So important updates that you can make. Now, remember, Google My Business is a free service. There is no cost to this. It does, as I mentioned, allows the business information to appear correctly across Google Search and Maps. And once the business has verified their business profile, they have the ability to edit the information that Google displays and allows them to keep their business details up to date. And in today's environment, we really know how important that is, because many businesses, it's not business as usual. So making sure that information is accurate is really important. So important updates they can make. You want to be able to edit your business description, your hours and your special hours. Publish posts, which I will go over. Turn on messaging, another great feature and tool that's available, which I'll explain. Adding managers to help them manage their business profile. And then if the business is temporarily closed, how they can mark their business as temporarily closed. The first thing that a business wants to consider updating is their business description. So you can use the business description area to update your customers with any major changes that are happening to the business. And whatever is important that you want, or your businesses that you deal with, you want them to know. So you can see by the example text that I have here that they've changed the way that they're doing business. So they've updated their business information, and how they would get to this, how a business would get to this is they are signed into their business account, the business profile, and the tab is info. And that is where they would click info and be able to edit the business details from that tab. And again, they might already have updated their business description before today's environment took place. So now it's important that they go back in and they update that information. The next area that they want to look at is hours. You know, if their general business hours have changed, you want to be able to make that adjustment. So maybe their store isn't open anymore on Thursdays and Fridays. So they can go in from the same tab of info and update their special hours. And those special hours will override the regular hours. So again, these are all areas within a business profile that small businesses can be updating and making sure that they have accurate information. The next area, and a great new feature that we've added, is for businesses to be able to update with a COVID-19 update. Now, this is considered a post within their business profile. Posts allow the business to provide live updates directly on their business profile. So they can update the way that they're doing business currently and be able to provide that live within the body of their business profile. So just so you understand, so we've got a variety of different types of posts. One new post that we've added is COVID-19 update. This type of post is a little bit different than our general posts. General posts normally provide an image, a description, and then a call to action. And they normally last for 7 days. A COVID-19 update lasts live within the listing, the business profile, for 28 days, and it appears higher up within the profile than a regular post. So what they would be able to do is provide details, information. There is no photo attached to this, with that call to action. So if something has changed within their business, this is a great way to be able to update that information quickly with accurate information that would appear within the body of the business profile. Now, some other types of posts that are available. You have on my screen here, we've got a couple different examples. What's new and event. So say you're working with a business that is offering gift certificates now, or curbside pickup, or delivery service, or ordering online only because they've closed for walk-in traffic. This is a good example of a what's new type of post where you would have an image, a description, and then a call to action button. And that type of post lives live on the listing for 7 days. So the COVID-19 is 28 days. The what's new is 7 days. And then next, you'll notice I've got an event. So if you're doing an event or your business is doing an event, the business that you work with is conducting an event, they can create a post as an event, and that post will live live on the profile until the event has happened. And again, it's the same thing, an image, a description, and a call to action button. So these are a variety of different types of posts that a business who has a verified business profile can be updating about information about their business and how maybe their business is changing on how they are doing business. Next, we have messaging. So that is another very cool feature that's available within the business profile. So especially in today's world. So messaging allows you to connect with, or allows the business to connect with customers in real time. So responding to those customers can help the business answer questions that customers might have and share any critical business updates. Now, in order to turn on messaging, the business must download the business profile app, the Google My Business app. As you'll notice, I have an example on the screen right here of what the app looks like. So you have to download Google My Business app and then make sure you're signed in with the same email address or Google account that you use to create and verify your business profile. And then you would go into the app and turn on messaging. You can only use this feature through the app. And as you'll notice on the screen, this is an example of it on a phone. So if the person is signed in, to get to messaging, they would go to the customer tab, and at the top is messages, and then they have the ability to turn it on. Once they've turned it on, they will create an auto reply. So maybe this business is only going to answer messages from 8 in the morning to 8 at night. So they might want to create an auto reply saying, thank you for messaging us. We are responding to messages between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. If you send us a message after, we will respond first thing in the morning. So again, they can only utilize this, the business, through the app that they would download. The consumer would see a little message button within their business profile. Just next to that call button, there would be a message button. The consumer would click that, it would open up in their text messaging, and they would have the ability to send a direct message to the business. So this is another great way for the business to be engaged with their customers and future customers, even though might not be business as usual right now. So again, they only can access messaging through the app, and they have to download that. The business has to download the app, and they would use it through their phone. And then if your business, or if the business you're working with is all working remotely and they want a little help managing their business profile, they have the ability to add additional users. So they would be signed into their business profile. They would go to manage users or users, click users, and then be able to add manage users. And there's a variety of different access level that they can offer for these small businesses. So if you are the business owner, or the business owner would like to invite 3 of its employees to help manage their business profile, they can choose the access level that they want to give those additional employees, and they would invite them through their email address. The invited user would see an email come across, they would click the link and verify that they want access to the business profile, and then they would be able to access the business profile through their own sign-in. They do not have to come and sign in to the business profile through the business owner's sign-in. They would have their own sign-in. And then we know that there are many businesses that are temporarily closed and that they do hope to open up once communities have started to reopen. So here is where we encourage our small businesses: do not mark your business as permanently closed, mark it as temporarily closed. So once they're verified, they would sign into their business profile. And this is an example on the desktop version. They would click Info and scroll until they see this area, mark as temporary closed, mark as permanent closed, remove listing. They would choose mark as temporarily closed. If they choose that, within their business profile, there would be a red banner that says temporarily closed, so that the consumer would see that when they find the business profile. Now, by marking themselves as temporarily closed, it still allows the business to appear when people are doing a Google search, and their business profile would still appear. So before I move on, any questions? If you could type them into the question box, that would be great. Anybody have any questions? I'm happy to answer any. There's got to be one question out there. No questions? Okay, I'm going to keep going. And if I see a question, I'll pop over to the question. Oh, okay. Diego said it's okay. Okay. All right, just making sure. I want to make sure everybody's on the same page. Okay, great. So now let's talk about Google Ads. So if you work with businesses, or within your organization, there are businesses that are running Google Ads currently, it is really another area where they want to take a look at and make sure that they're updating their Google Ads with the most accurate information. So what we recommend is, obviously, they would sign into their Google Ad account, and then they would have the ability to either modify their ads, or they could pause their ads if they would like to. So they would sign in with the account, the Google account that manages, that works, uses their Google Ads, and they have the ability then to modify or pause their campaigns. So when making modifications to their ads, they first want to evaluate their current ad campaigns and how those campaigns are running, and then review all the assets thoroughly. So they want to think about the content of their campaign and what they're saying within the campaign, and making sure that it matches the way that they are currently running business. So making those updates, they would look at their different campaigns, look at the text ads, and make those updates directly within the Google Ad platform. If their business has paused and they're temporarily closed and they're not really doing business, we would encourage them to then pause their Google Ad campaign, because if they pause it, they're not then spending the funds that are already in their account. They're pausing it until their business is back up and running. So that is another area where we encourage businesses to take a look at within their Google Ad platform. So they would have the ability to either modify their campaigns if they want to keep them running and just updating that information, or they have the ability to pause their campaigns as well. Any question on Google Ads? I know I'm going through a lot quickly, but if there's any questions, by all means, put it in the question box and I will come back to it. And then the next area within critical updates that they should be looking at is their website. Making sure that they're providing the most accurate information about their business right now. So updating their website with any critical information or news and announcements affecting the operation of their business and their customers. So maybe share a pop-up or a main announcement on the homepage of their website, like what we have here. And if their hours or operation has been modified at all, it's really important that they make sure that they're updating all those pages of their website that provides that information. So really, we encourage these businesses to look at your website and not just the homepage. Go to the pages within your website and see what needs to be updated, and make sure that the messaging is consistent across all of your platforms. So now before I move into the next area, I've got a couple questions. So is it free? So how can customers know about the profile on Google Business? So number one, yes, it is free. Your business profile for small businesses, all free. There is no charge for them to verify or create a business profile. It is a free tool. How can customers know about the profile on Google Business? So that's a question I got. So customers would know about the business profile on Google because they are Googling whether it's the business name or they're Googling the products and services that business provides. And if they're providing or Googling that information, and maybe with an area or a town that business is in, or the product or service that they're looking for that information, they will appear within the business profile. That information, the business would appear on a Google search results page, and it is free for them. So let's see, Google tools for make a business model. I'm not really sure what you're asking, Carlos. I apologize. So let's see. Stephen said, my marketing person is using G Suite while we're using HubSpot. There's some duplication, but it is effective to use. I don't know how you're using the other platform that HubSpot. G Suite, has different resources. I don't know exactly what HubSpot is offering and how you're utilizing that platform. So I can't exactly answer whether or not it would be overlapping. They all, I would assume, offer some of the same tools. What I'm going to go over next is really how to communicate. And, if your businesses are all working remotely and they want to be able to share documents or be able to hold virtual meetings, I'll go through that next with available resources. So I apologize, Stephen. I can't tell you whether or not there's an overlap with G Suite and HubSpot because I'm not sure how you're utilizing HubSpot. Okay, so let's move on to the next, which is communicate with customers and employees. And we're going to talk about Google Meet. So raise your hands if you've heard of Google Meet. Anybody? Heard of Google Meet? Anybody utilizing Google Meet? Okay, so only really a couple people are utilizing it. So Google Meet, so it allows you to hold video meetings with people inside or outside of your organization. Now, you don't need a Google account to participate in a Meet video meeting. But if you don't have a Google account, you can't create the meeting. You can still participate in the meeting. So let me explain what Google Meet is. So Google Meet allows you to host or join video meetings from any device. There are advanced features that are now available, and we're rolling them out for G Suite customers through September 30th. So more advanced options that are available. If you have a Gmail account, you will also have access to Google Meet as well. You won't have some of the advanced options, and I'll talk about that in a second, but you still can host workshops, meetings, virtual meetings. Our team, we're over 3 different time zones, and all our meetings are held through Google Meet. One really cool feature, and I'll point this out to you, is you have the ability for creating captions. So as the meeting, if anybody, has any type of difficulty with hearing or accessibility issues, they have the ability to, or you have the ability as somebody who's hosting the meeting through Google Meet, to actually be able to turn on captions, which is a really cool feature that I love. They don't have to use a plugin to use Google Meet. It is a very simple tool to be able to access. I do have a question. Here, is the app secure? So here you can see we have our security question, our security answers about Google Meet. So if you want to take a picture of this screen and learn more about how secure our platform is, that provides great information and resources available. So how can a business benefit from Google Meet? So it allows a business to feel connected while working remotely. A team can brainstorm ideas. They can schedule remote client consultations. They can host online classes. It is another way to stay connected, whether it's with your clients or with your team members. There are, and I'm going to go through this, 2 different ways that we recommend joining a Google Meet conference. So you can set up a Google Meet a variety of different ways. I'm going to go over these 2 ways right here. You can directly go to meet.google.com and set up a meet directly through that URL. And this is great for spur of the moment conversations or meetings. Or if you want to schedule a calendar meeting and schedule it in advance, or even for later that same day, you can set up a meeting invitation in Google Calendar and designate it as a Google Meet so that people have the ability to join that meeting through video as well as through audio. So let's talk about using Google Meet directly from the website. All they would have to do, or all you would have to do, is go to meet.google.com and click Start or Join a Meeting. And you have the ability then, so if you are inviting people, you have the ability right there to start a meeting and add additional email addresses, invite them through that way. And it's a very simple way to just get a meeting on spur of the moment and say, hey, let's connect on Google Meet. The second option is through Google Calendar. If you want to schedule a meeting in advance, even if it's later that same day, an hour later, half an hour later, 10 minutes later, you can schedule it directly through your Google Calendar. So the way that you would do that is you would schedule a meeting just like you normally would through Google Calendar. You would click Create, or as you can see on the screen right here, or you would click into that day that you want to schedule the meeting. This screen would open up and you would put your timing in. And then this is where, after you could add guests from this screen, or I'll come back to guests in a minute, you would click Add Video Conferencing. If you click that, you will get a drop down and it will now have the Google Meet link for people to join when they receive the calendar invite. Now, you have the ability then to click more options and add more details after you click more options. And you can add, if you want to attach an agenda for your meeting, you have the ability to do that. You can add multiple guests. You can host, if you have the consumer version, you can host up to 100 people for an hour. Or if you have the G Suite version, you can actually host up to 250 or more. Actually, I believe it's now 500 people within your Google Meet. And you can, I know this is going to sound crazy, but you can actually host a meeting for up to 300 hours. Nobody's staying on a meeting for 300 hours, but you do have that option. So if you click more options right here, this is where, again, you would have the option to add some notes to the meeting. You can attach an agenda. You can add email addresses so that you're inviting additional guests and they would receive that calendar invite. And then they have the option to click yes, maybe, or no. Once they click yes, it's then saved obviously on their calendar and they can join right here where it says join with Google Meet. They have the ability at the time of the meeting to click join with Meet and have the ability to join the meeting. So this is what it would look like, join with Meet. You can see right here, if they don't want to have video and only want to join by phone, they also have that option available. So there's a couple different ways that they can utilize this tool. Once they've clicked that, this is the screen they'll get, click join meeting, and they can do it from a mobile device, or they can do it from their desktop, laptop, or tablet. So let me go over features, but before I do that, let me answer any questions that I can. So let's see, did you say it has closed captions? Yes, and that's a fabulous feature, and I'll show you where you'll see that you can add closed captions. And I have tested it out, and it is pretty accurate. So that is really a fabulous feature. Other platforms, I know that you do have to download another app to sync with that platform you might be using to be able to utilize closed captions, because I have used it with actually friends. Does anybody with the link join in the meeting, or can the host restrict the access? So you can set it up where they have to ask for access and you let them in to the meeting. Is recording saved in the host Google Drive, or where is it stored? Yes, I do believe that it is stored within their Google Drive, and they can access it back and be able to share it. So Carlos, I did put a link for the security, and here, anything I'm speaking about as well. So you can Google it and put support Google Meet security. You will get to our support pages. They'll provide, those support pages will provide additional details and probably answer most of your questions when you're asking even about security within utilizing Google Meet. But it is a secure feature just like your Google account. I believe the security is 99.9%. So again, I always go to our support pages because there you will find the most accurate and up-to-date information. Can you require a registration to receive the meeting link? I believe you could probably set it up so within using another form that people would have to register, and then they would be provided a link to the Google Meet, but I don't think you can set up a registration within Google Meet directly. So let's go over, so let me see, I have one more. During lockdown, can my grandmother who has no Gmail account or account be able to use? How easy is it for a non-tech person? So, you know, and I'll go to my my parents and my mother-in-law, you know, when we first started using this with them, I can't tell you how many times all we saw was their ear when we were doing video meetings, and they have perfected it. They don't, again, you can invite somebody who doesn't have a Gmail account, a Google account, to a Google Meet, and they don't have to download another platform to be able to utilize this. They would get the invite, they can click it through their email and be able to join the meeting, but they cannot set it up if they don't have a Google account. So let's go through some features because I don't want to run out of time. So when your Google Meet is happening, these are some of the controls that are available. You'll notice at the bottom of the screen, you've got your microphone, you have your video camera, you can turn it on, you can turn it off. Upper right-hand side, you have the ability to chat during the meeting with those that are attending your meeting. You can also provide URLs so that if there's, you want to direct people to a website and say, hey, check out this website for additional information. You can put that URL right into the chat. They have the ability to click through and a new tab would open up. Here is where you can also turn on captions as well at the bottom of the screen here. right near where it's got your microphone and camera functions. You've got the turn on caption, which again is a fabulous feature. One thing I always recommend when I'm doing meetings through any type of platform is everyone who's an attendee should be on mute. So you'll notice here, Spencer he's on mute because it's red. Everybody else is not. And because we're all working from home, there's the ability that somebody, the kids might be in the background, or the dog's barking, or your, partner's walking into another room. Whatever it may be, there's background noise. So we always recommend, if you're conducting a meeting, that you instruct all your attendees, hey, click mute, turn it on mute. So sharing your screen is relatively simple as well, where you would click present now in the lower right-hand corner, and you can share your entire screen. You can share a window. You can have someone else present as well. So you've got the sharing features that are also available as well. You have the ability to record your meetings. You can change the layout of your meetings. So whether it's all the different thumbnails or you have one main person. Here again is where you can turn on captions. So there's a variety of different ways that you can turn on captions also. So some best practices with Google Meet. So, and this is with any video conferencing that you're doing. You want to make a good impression. Keep your camera on if you can and if you're comfortable. Keep the camera on because it allows people to know that they're engaged, you're engaged. Choose a neutral background if it's possible. Have an external microphone because the sound quality is a little bit better than if you're just speaking into your computer. As I mentioned before, mute your microphone when you're not speaking. That is key. A lot of times, we're in meetings and we're typing on our computer. If your mic is not muted, everybody can hear that you're typing. And when you're thinking about, I'm hosting a meeting or I'm conducting a meeting, my appearance wise, if you can stick with solid color clothing, it's easier for people than if you've got stripes and patterns on your clothing. Any questions on that before I move to Gmail? I just want to make sure we can get through everything. Let's see. How about hiding my background? So again, you can't hide your background if your camera is on. You can turn your camera off, but you can't just hide your background. As a host, can I have 2 meetings at the same time? I don't believe that you can because it's done through one Google account, and your Google account would be hosting the meeting through that main account. And I'm not sure why you would host 2 accounts at once. So, but it would only be one account. Okay. Okay, so let's talk about Gmail. So I'm just briefly going to talk about a special feature that, you or the businesses that you work with might be able to utilize to help manage their business remotely. So we've used, and many of us have used, the out of office. How many of you use an out of office reply within your Gmail account or your Google account? Okay, I see some hands going up. Let's get some more hands going up. Okay, so we've got some hands going up. Okay, so this is a great feature. And this is another way of utilizing this feature where you might be working remotely and you're slower on emails, so you want to set up an auto reply. And when you're setting up that auto reply, in order to do that, you would be signed into your Google account, your Gmail account, excuse me, or your G Suite account. You would go to the gear in the upper right-hand corner when you're in your email, and that opens up this pop-up, this window, and then you would click settings. From settings, you're led into the main tab, which is the general tab. Go to the general tab and scroll all the way down. Whoop, sorry about that. Hang on, let me go back one more, scroll down, and here is where you would find vacation responder, off, on. It is default to off, so you would have to turn it on. and you would set up the first day you want it to appear and maybe the last day, which is optional. What I have suggested with businesses is set up that autoresponder with some frequently asked questions. So as you'll see on the screen, we've got, thank you for your email. We'll reply as soon as we can. Our store is currently closed. We are working remotely, might be a response. And then you can set up just some frequently answered questions that automatically people will get. So can I buy from your store? Yes, you can still order online. We will deliver it to you contact free. Our store is not open, but please, maybe here's a link to our YouTube channel where we're providing virtual tours. Think of the questions that people might be asking currently to the small businesses that you work with, and they can use those as their auto reply, their autoresponder. And the key is not to forget to turn it off once their business has opened up again, or their business has changed. Make sure that they're updating the information in that auto response. Now, whenever you've made an adjustment to your Gmail, you must always hit save changes, or those changes will not be saved. So this is just another way to stay engaged, or have your businesses stay engaged with their customers or future customers that might be reaching out. So let's talk about accessing files from anywhere. So let me see if I have any questions. How can I know that the receiver opened my email? You don't know whether or not they've opened your email. This isn't that type of platform. I mean, they may open it, they may not, but they'll be able to see if they look at the email or scroll over it without fully opening it, they'll be able to see those auto responses. So let's see, if I have class, I want to put my students in groups and be aware of what is going on in both meetings. Oh, you're saying for hosting multiple meetings. If you have different Gmail accounts, you can host different meetings at the same time through your different accounts. Okay, so let's talk about accessing files from anywhere. So this is really the last area I want to go over. And it's really important because many of us are, working on documents with team members, and we're all working remotely. So being able to access those documents or those spreadsheets or presentations in real time is really important. So Google Drive really houses your Google applications, and things like Google Sheets, Google Docs, Gmail, other apps, all is housed within Google Drive. Google Drive is a cloud-based storage software that you can access by logging into your Google account from anywhere and from any device. So how many of you use Google Drive currently? Raise your hands. Okay, so hands are going up. So, okay. So Google Drive, again, to be able to access it, you have to be signed into your Google account, and you would click, as you'll notice on the screen here, that grid in that dropdown, and click Drive. That will open up the screen that you're looking at once we've clicked Drive, and it gives you access to your Google Docs, your Google Sheets, your Google presentations. It is all cloud-based, so it's stored in the cloud. And as I mentioned, you can access your files from any device that you're signed into your Google account. And you can even edit those files if you're offline. Say you're, in your car and you're going, or say your internet access is down and you want to access your files. You still have the ability to access even if you're offline. So to get, and let me try and get to the next screen. Hang on one sec. Okay. So uploading files to Google Drive is relatively simple. So you can upload any type of file to Google Drive. Again, you're signed into your Google Drive. upper left-hand corner, once you're signed in, let me go back one screen. And if you look at this, when you're on Google Drive, there'll be a new button in the upper left-hand corner that you would click. You would then click that new, and it would open up this pop-down. And you can choose what is the file that you want to upload or create new. So if you want to upload it, you would click File Upload, and it would open up into whether it's your desktop that you want to upload a file into. You also can organize your files into different folders. So you would create folder. You could create different folders right here and be able to organize all of your files into different folders. You can upload different different file formats like PowerPoint or Microsoft Excel. You can upload them into Google Drive. What it will do, it will save it in that format and then ask you if you also want to create that file in a Google format. So you have the ability to have it in both formats as well. And let me go back. So once you've created your file, now one thing I want to point out here is you have the ability to create a Google Doc, Google Sheets, or Google Slides. We have them available from a blank screen or from a template. So if you put your cursor over this little arrow, you have the ability to create a document, whether from blank or using one of our templates and updating that template with your information. You also have, and this is all about sharing documents with other team members, or if you're conducting a class and you want to share documents and have groups of people working on these particular documents. So you can share, and you'll notice in the upper right-hand corner, I have share. If you click that, you'll get a screen that opens up and it'll ask you, who do you want to share the document with by their email, and then the access level that you want to give them. And I'll show you that in a slide. But you also have a way to invite others to work on a document with you by adding a comment. So by adding a comment, you'll notice on the screen here, I've got, have we started to looking for her replacement here? And I've highlighted it. I click that little plus, and it's on the right-hand side, a little box opens up. I have the opportunity to then assign that comment by email to one of my team members. They will then get a notification, an email that I've shared a document, that they can click the link and go directly to the area of that document where they would respond. So now here's how you can share different access levels. So say you have one file that you want to share with multiple people. You would invite them by putting in their different email addresses, put a note, and then hit send. They would all receive that email with a link to the document. And you can give them each different access, whether one has completely edit access, another can only comment, and another person might only be able to view it. Or you can share a document with just one person. So it's really up to you how you want to be able to share your documents with team members or classmates or people, students, and the different access levels that you want to be able to share it with. And people have the ability to access their Google Drive from a mobile device. So regardless of the device that they're opened up on, they have the ability to access by downloading the Google Drive app. As I mentioned before, if you're not going to have Wi-Fi, or say there's a huge storm coming and you don't know if your Wi-Fi will go out, I always recommend go into that file from the device that you're going to want to access it from, click File, you'll get a drop down, click Make Available Offline, and then you can refer back to that file, that folder or that file, and you would have access to it, even if you don't have Wi-Fi, and you can make updates to it. And then when Wi-Fi is available, you have the ability, you'll be able to see those changes within the platform, within the file. So let's go over some quick checklists because I don't want to run out of time. I want to take a few questions. So the things that you want to be updating is update your business profile, update that information with changes to your business. If you're running Google Ads, modify or pause your ad campaign, update your website, start using Google Meet to connect. And one thing I do recommend is if you're unfamiliar with how to use it, practice. Do it one-on-one with a friend and get comfortable utilizing Google Meet and utilizing having your camera on. And then you also can update your Gmail vacation responder with frequently asked questions and also how your business is doing business right now. And then storing files in Google Drive. So here's some additional resources that are available for you to take a look at and maybe take a picture of this screen. Let me see if I have any questions here. So does Google Meet have breakout rooms within meeting platform? It currently does not. That doesn't mean as we make updates, we will be rolling new features out. We are always making updates to make it, as user friendly and as best for the consumer to be able to use. If it is possible, we need to know how to make an online questionnaire by Google. Unfortunately, I'm not going to have time for that. So you can use Google Forms to create a form that you could share. If you're sharing it, I don't know what you want to use it for, but if you're creating maybe a form that you want to be able to share out with your audience or with your students and be able to have them fill it out, Google Forms is a great free resource. Again, all of this is free. There, other than Google Ads, not one thing I've spoken about there's a charge for. Can I make all the documents available offline? You can make all your documents available offline. Now, here's the thing. The device that you make it available offline on is the device that you have to access it from offline. So if you do it off a tablet and you go into your Google Drive and you make that file or that presentation or your document available offline, you have to go back to that document from that tablet to access it from offline. So any other questions? So I'm going to put my camera on again. And let's see. Okay, so I have no other questions. Let's see. Okay, I'll let you take over then.
Yeah, thank you so much. This has been extremely valuable here. You have no idea. I'm just watching, every time I watch these webinars here, and I've been doing more of them, I learn something new every day. So this is just incredible here. I think a lot of the questions people here are an epitome of what they see as more collaboration for small businesses here. I know you mentioned Google Meets is coming out. I am so excited about it as well because it just integrates very nice with Gmail when you send out invitations and everything. You can do it instead of going to another app and then another. It just all integrates. So it's just a matter of time where a lot of these questions will be part of the features of Google Meets. So just, I guess it's patience is a little bit. I know Google is going to move very fast in doing all of this.
Well, it is rolled out currently. Most people who have G Suite should already see it in their platform. And for the consumer version, updates are being made. And again, as you mentioned, it is being rolled out. So for some of you, if you go into your account, you might see it already.
No, that's absolutely fantastic. And we have G Suite, so that'll be absolutely fantastic here. So with this, and we only have 1 minute left here, I want to ask you one last question. Here, from all the different, from all the different applications here that are available in front of you here, for those that are the educators, for those are the ones that are working with small business, with those are the ones here, what would you say to them as a path forward, saying, I would go here first, look at this information and jump to here and then jump to here, so they have a path? Because there's maybe a lot of information here, and you can say to them,
Sure.
go start with this and then move here and then move there.
So any of our attendees that are working with small businesses, the first thing is, if they have a business profile, making sure that that information is accurate. Because, if it's a restaurant and obviously they're closed to walk-in traffic, they still want to be able to do business. They still want to have curbside pickup, delivery, and they want the consumer to know that. So really making sure that your information is as accurate as possible in today's environment is so important. And your website, making sure it's updated, is huge.
And absolutely, this is critical here. So I have some exciting news to share with all the attendees here, is that we see that this is very beneficial and it's great, and Google is doing a fantastic job sharing this information with everybody here. So we're going to continue having these sessions with Google and Randi here. She has a slew of them coming up with other organizations, partner organizations as well. So what we're going to do is, her and I had a conversation earlier, is that she's going to share with us some of these dates and times that you're going to have them, and we're going to share them with our ICSB family for you to join. So you might see us in different sessions of yours, all coming in with the ICSB hat here. So that just so you have us. Welcome to the Randi. Welcome to the ICSB family. You made my birthday very special here.
Yes,
So
happy birthday.
thank you. And with that, I want to thank you all for attending here. I want to also remind you all that tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, we have our colleagues from Kenya. They're going to be talking about SMEs in Kenya and how we can support them and what they're doing there. So the world is very small these days, and it's just going to get smaller, and we need all these digital tools to interact with each other. So Randi, thank you, a heartfelt thank you from ICSB and everybody. And for all the
Thanks,
attendees,
everybody.
thank you so much.
Everybody stay safe.
Bye-bye.
Take care.